Gosh, I've been waiting for someone to mention this. Just buckle up. Around the same time my marriage started to fall apart, I was like looking everywhere for like solutions. I had been reading books, looking at podcasts, looking for marriage counselors. Like I was doing all of this work to see what am I doing wrong? How can I heal this dynamic? Like what's going on? I was looking everywhere for answers. And at that time, I just so happened to stumble across this 2018 documentary called Tom versus Time. The documentary caught my attention because of how closely it follows his family life. The clips of the documentary are actually from periods over the course of his entire career, not just from the year 2018. What I noticed was the clips of Gisele. The clips of Gisele stood out to me because she reminded me so much of myself when I first got married. The way she talked about Tom, the things that she had committed to, the way he talked about their relationship, the way they both had these really high-powered, high fame, high commitment, successful jobs, but they were both like giddy about the idea of family. Like they just loved family. And she especially, she even says to the interviewer, I was attracted to Tom because of just how dedicated he is to his family and how much he loves the idea of family. And I just knew like, if that's what he really wants, I want to build a family with him. But the documentary follows his career. And so you see these clips of Gisele before they have kids. And then you see when they have just one kid and then just two kids. And at the beginning, she says like, I knew when I married him, he was this high-powered, high performer. He and I agreed that we'd have these kids and he was going to see his career to the end of the road. Original agreement was when he turned 40, he would retire. So she said, by the time they have two kids, you could tell she's tired. She is also holding down a successful career and she is holding everything to do with their household and their kids by herself. And the documentary makes that clear, that Tom is like, he is football alone, and he is football, everything is football for him. He is only with his family in the off season, and even then only for a little bit of time. And you could tell 5, 6, 7 years into kids, she is starting to wear down. But her rhetoric is still the same. She's like, Tom is dedicated, even though this is really tiring, like I knew what I signed up for when I married him. And I'm just so looking forward. Like this is like a short period, right? I've got to let him chase his dreams, but we're all going to get to have him in just a couple of years when he retires. You could still see some of the original light in her eyes from the first videos that happened years before when they first got married. You could still see this admiration and this dedication she has to family, but you can also see that she's getting exhausted, that holding all these cards alone is burning her out, and that she's keeping focused on the light at the end of the tunnel, his retirement. Go watch this documentary yourself, because in it, Tom is also talking really positively about his retirement. Pictures of them on vacation with the kids in the off season, and he's talking about how much he just loves spending time with family, but that he has to see this through, right? His career. He's got to see it all the way to the end. And the funny part is, as the documentary goes along, like later in his career, getting closer and closer to 2018, and he's starting to say, well, maybe I won't retire at 40, you can see the look on her face in those moments. You can watch the way her face changes. The entire documentary, whenever they cut to her, she's like, family is everything to me. I married Tom because he loves family. He wants to be with his family. And every single time he alludes to the fact that he's going to maybe skip out on the commitment he made to be a family man, you can see the way her face falls. Completely evident, carrying the entire mental and physical load of having a family, even though he is the one that claimed to also want this with her. And you could tell she's getting exhausted. Not to mention she has her own incredibly high-powered career. When Gisele and Tom met, Gisele was wealthier than Tom. She had a wildly successful life in her own right. She says this several times, like she loves that he's passionate, but she doesn't care about his money. Win or lose, she loves him. She makes that clear. And most of all, she just wants to be with someone who wants to be with his family. Keep that in mind. They show just how rigorous their lives are and that Tom is involved in almost none of it day to day. Gisele is a married single mom, not just to their biological kids, but to his stepson, who she cares for, and that son visits. It's during the season. Like Gisele is also in charge of another kid that's not hers, who she lovingly embraces. The entire reason the documentary is getting made is because the year 2018, 2019, that season, is the one Tom has alluded to being that he will retire. He's going to be 40 in that season. The documentary ends before the Super Bowl airs, but I pay really close special attention because when the documentary airs, she looks exhausted, but you could tell she's holding on to this light at the end of the tunnel that she's had the whole time. That I married this very passionate man, that I very much love him, but that I can't wait to do the thing we always said we would do, which is be together as a family. 2019, he wins his 6th Super Bowl. Oh my gosh, unprecedented. And if you watch that Super Bowl victory, she runs down on that field. You could tell how pumped she is. And I remember watching it carefully because I was like, here it is. Here's the moment she's been waiting for. And she supports him like relentlessly through the whole thing. She's at the game, so are all the kids. He thinks we're going out on top. Look at all we've accomplished. I've been a steady wife in my man's life this whole time. And also, thank God, we're gonna actually have real time together. And this is when you can tell things get wishy-washy. You can tell that either he started to backpedal on that promise right before that Super Bowl or sometime during that year. Because if you look at interviews with Gisele in 2019, you can already tell she's lost her spirit. Like her countenance has fully fallen on this. Bargain this she signed up for. Be a dedicated wife for this decade while they have young children. And the prize at the end of the tunnel, which is we're going to be all get to be a family together, that dream is dying. But not because she's killing it. After that season, I think later that year that he announces he's going to go to the Buccaneers, she goes radio silent on their relationship. She doesn't post him on Instagram anymore. You could tell she's like hoping he snaps out of it. You could tell she's like hoping that he chooses their family. The crazy part about that documentary too is it shows like just how meticulously, insanely dedicated to football Tom is at every level, like how he plans it out, how dedicated he is. You could tell after he chooses to go to the Buccaneers that that's when their marriage ended because he had been promising for over a decade to be a family man and someone else held it down for him relentlessly under enormous pressure when all she wanted was someone dedicated to his family. And when he had the opportunity to prove that's who he was, he walked away from it. He's the one that walked away from their commitments. She just filed the paperwork.